Welcome everyone to another edition of the Real Dude Show. I am your host, John Alexander, with my other host, Peen Porter. What's going on, man?
Not much, John. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. We're going to have an impactful show today here on the Real Dude Show. Man, what's some special guests. After the last episode, man, a lot of things has been going on, man, but hey, it is what it is. So,
it is what it is, man.
So we're about to kick it off here, man. We're about to bring on our first guest. Our guest today are Mr. Donell Britt of Diamond Sports Group. Then we're going to talk to former head coach of the Churchland Truckers football team, Alonzo Jr. And then we're going to close it off with our comedian, Mr. Cletus Kassady, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
We are going to kick it off with an awesome show. So, without further ado, let's get to these people and let's go ahead and start the show. Anything you got to say before we start?
I'm just ready to get it started, man. I want to hear what everybody got to say, man. I'm kind of excited about this episode.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Dude Show. It is my pleasure to introduce to you guys. He's an owner of Diamond Sports Group. And man, he is doing some big things for the kids in the community here. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mr. Donell Britt to the Real Dude Show. Welcome, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on tonight.
All right.
What's going on, Donell? Hey, what's going on, sir? How are you? I'm chilling, man. Hey, John, I want to correct you real quick, because you said he's doing things in our community. This man doing things across the United States, man.
Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So I am being correct.
So I'm gonna go ahead and start it off. So tell me something about Donell Britt. Who is Donell Britt?
Oh man, I try to stay I'm just a humble guy, from Portsmouth, Virginia, but in reality, I'm a 21-year Army veteran. I spent 21 years in the Army, traveled all around the country, and that's where I found the passion of youth football. So around about 6 years ago, I decided to start a sports marketing company called Diamond Sports Group, where we specialize in finding the top youth athletes all around the country, and including we also have kids come through from Canada. So I spend my day and night, first and foremost, a father of 8 kids, so we'll get into that later. But and a husband, but I also have a whole lot of other kids around the country that I consider mine too. We're just like a family. Once the kids come to our events, we try to keep up with them and make sure that they know what to do to keep on increasing their time as a athlete. Because at a certain time, when they reach high school, it's usually where you see those youth players fall off. You see a lot of top youth athletes right before they go to high school, and then you wonder about what happened to Billy or Joey. But usually the thing to get them is either the grades or the streets. So we try to teach them at a young age some different things to do to try to stop that from happening. We can't, or try to prevent it from happening. We can't stop it everywhere, but we try to prevent it and give the parents some recourses to go to. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, okay. So this Diamond Sports Group, what exactly is it? I see the advertisers on Facebook, but what exactly do you do?
Probably a lot of the advertisements that you see on Facebook is for one of our events. We have a lot of them. We're known mostly for the one that's in Myrtle Beach. That event's been going on for 5 years straight. Where we now have a lot of kids in the 2020 and 21 that have come through our games, that have played in the game, that have major D1 scholarships. One mainly Chris Tyree, who's one of the number one recruits in the Virginia area. He toured up in his 7th grade year, so you could tell at that point he was going to be a big-time star. But what you're seeing a lot of time is the advertisement of either our D1 Savage series, which, listen, if you really think about it, any kind of All-American game, you can start with the Army game or Under Armour game, all the way down to every mom-and-pop youth All-American game that you see that's popping up. None of those guys that run that event actually see the kids. And it's just one of those events to tell you that they actually film in real gameplay, like they film in film to the high school. It's not hard to figure out who the guys supposed to be in the high school events. But how do they really know, how good that youth player is just because he plays for whatever, the local Cavaliers or that team in Utah, right? So what we do is, for the springtime, we use that as kind of like a college evaluation, but we use it as a youth evaluation, right? We bring them all in to different locations around the region, and that's where we pick the kids to come to Vegas. So we pick the top kids from every region to plan out what we call our elite event. That's the event where we know for sure that every kid that steps on the football field from 4th grade to 8th grade can straight out ball. And we can put them against any kid around the country because we went around the country. And so, are we going to always have the best of the best? No, because no one's ever going to see the best. Every athlete from Miami all the way over there to Tucson to Bakersfield, California. But from what we see, we know we have some of the top kids that come through it. So, that's some of the advertising that you might see. And then we do one of the biggest youth spring, or we call it summer, youth football tournaments where you can bring whatever you got. It's unlimited weight. You can stack your team. You can play all-stars, whatever you want to do. And we promise you that's going to be a tournament that's hard to win. And we call that Summer Shine, and that's down in Charlotte, North Carolina this year.
Oh, okay. So anybody can just put a team in and go from there?
Yeah. Any guys in the 757 that ain't afraid, they know. It ain't too many guys in the 757 in the youth football that don't know about Summer Shine. They know how hard it is for them to win, and not a lot of them want to put a team in. But it's about 60-something teams registered right now from all around the country.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
So is it full 11-on-11 or is it 7-on-7? Like, how is it?
Nah, it's tackle football. Straight up tackle football. Full pass, 11-on-11.
Cool.
And it's unlimited weight. So it ain't you can't run the ball. It'd be too big. You got to deal with that big running back if you got to tackle. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
You know?
So it's done by age group?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. It's 8U, 9U, 10U, 11U, 12, 13U. We got away from the 14U, so those guys actually supposed to be in high school. So,
right.
We want to kind of get away. Everybody wants to do a 14U, man, but I don't really want to see any high school kids flying around this spring and something. I'd rather see them with their high school getting ready for, whatever they want to do.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. That's a. So there's that. You say that's the one that's in Charlotte.
Yeah, that's in Charlotte. Is at the end of
that's your marquee event. That's the one you say that's your marquee event.
Well, you know what? It's hard to really say what a marquee event is. I would say,
okay.
The event that we hold and say that we love the most has to always be Myrtle Beach. So that's what.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. This one that you're talking about now. This not Myrtle Beach.
No, that's not Myrtle Beach. It's Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
It's single. We bringing in kids that don't even know each other. But in Carolina for Summer Shine, that's you. Say one of y'all want to get a team here locally and come down to Summer Shine, put your team together, and come down there and play a tournament like a youth football tournament.
Oh, I got you. Okay, I got you. Okay.
Yep.
That's dope, man.
Now I have a question. Does your
But this the first year that you're doing this type of plan, or you always done this?
Nah, this is Summer Shine. This is Summer Shine 4. It's the 4th one.
Oh.
And the teams that you ever had in the repeat champ?
Say that one time. I didn't hear you last day.
Did you ever have any repeat champions? Like the guys that won the year before, did they come back and win again, or is it always a different team that'll win?
We have one repeat champion. They're actually out of the Richmond area, and they call themselves TMT, the money team. And they won as at 9U, and then they won as 10U last year. And they're coming back talking big mess because they said they're going to win next year. So I'm going to be honest, man. If you guys can come down, and the championship game is going to be live streamed not on Facebook. Actually, we have a production company going to really live stream the games because I felt like the championships need to be given the biggest exposure possible. But if you guys ain't got nothing to do, man, come down there and see. That 11U is stacked, man. We got 14 teams on that 11U, and they coming from West Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Texas. I mean, it's going to be crazy. So they talking stuff, but it's going to be interesting to see how that team goes against these rest of these new teams.
Okay. Now I have a question. Now I have two. Now is it your is it all year round, or you just do it for the spring so they can get ready for fall football, or is it just the springtime that you do it, or is it all year round?
Well, I guess you kind of say we have an event that's pretty much active all year round. Meaning, I mean, if you talk about Myrtle Beach in December, we leave from Myrtle Beach and go to Vegas, like MLK weekend in January.
Okay.
Now, from January to May, we don't have anything, but we are actively looking whether the kid plays 7-on-7, whatever they do in whatever area. We actively looking for those players to play in May. So our first event actually of the D1 Savage Series starts this week.
Oh, okay.
And we don't stop until June. So then after June, right, we don't have another event until December. But what are we doing? We're actively looking for those kids to play in Myrtle Beach. So we kind of are always, you know.
I ain't know it was serious, man. I mean, you told me it was serious, but this is seriously.
Yeah.
I like this. It's like you like a rival to the other All-Star games, the Under Armour, the Nike games. You know, this gonna be up there in a couple of years. This sounds like something that's gonna be nice.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about it. So if you look at my company, right? So Diamond Sports Group is the company, but in reality, the company is Shine Sports. So Shine Sports owns a multitude of things. We own Diamond Sports Group. We own D1 Savage. We own a lot of different other entities, right? But so when you look at like the Under Armour game, that's not really okay. I used to work for just something else you don't know. I used to work for the company that did the Army game, right? So the Army did not run that game, right? They paid $3 million. Right.
Just to put that name on it.
A separate entity, correct. That was used as a recruiting tool. That's no longer the Army game. You guys go back and look at the stuff now. They're no longer calling it the Army game. The Army pulled that $3 million, and that company was sold to someone else. Actually, it was now sold to NBC. NBC owns the right to the game, but it's not called the Army game. So remember, when you see names like, oh man, that's the Under Armour camp, or that's the Under Armour combine. Under Armour,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They paid 3-Step Sports, that's who runs the Under Armour combine. They paid them to run their combine. You know, it's just a sponsorship. And so we're really on the youth level. We don't have any sponsorship. We're a standalone company that so if nobody can come in and pull the sponsorship and now we can't provide the things that we provide to the kids because we own every part of this. Black owned too. You know what I'm saying?
Black owned. That's what I was gonna say. Black owned business.
Right.
Okay.
So the other company, D1 Savage, that's the apparel side of. The D1 Savage, is that the apparel side of the Diamond, or how does that work?
It's really a separate entity.
Okay.
You know, it's an actual separate entity that I created a year ago because I seen the company called D1 Bound. I saw a lot of D1 kind of stuff, and I was like, you know, I wanted to make something that, you know, a youth athlete could wear or a high school athlete could wear, you know, as a slogan or whatever. And then at that point, Savage was running around, and we kind of was sitting around just playing with a lot of stuff, and we just came up with it. And it actually is a company that does youth and high school jerseys. We're known for our hats and T-shirts and stuff like that, and we're really going to go full blown over the next 18 months to push to be in some type of stores. So we've been perfecting the craft and getting it right, but we produce a lot of things. And that's just another company that I own that it has really nothing to do with Diamond Sports Group, but I do with kids. You know what I'm saying? So,
okay, I got you.
Right, so that D1 Savage series is kind of like I told y'all, how Under Armour has the Under Armour Combine or whatever, this D1 Savage series. So D1 Savage is the sponsor of that event, which is ran by Diamond Sports Group. I just so happen to own both entities.
Oh, okay.
The money stays.
Got it.
Money stays in the house. Money stays in the house. I like that.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So how is it, man? I know running, Diamond Sports Group, man, compared to the competitors, man.